Night everyone, it's Mary with Hogwall Designs, and I have a spooky little project for you tonight. So I'm just going to quick check on my page here and see if we are good to go, and maybe I can see comments over here tonight. So just get this all backwards here, it looks like. Hi, good morning, afternoon. It's evening. My day has been crazy today, so golly. Let's see if I can flip this. There we go. So my day started off with a bang, literally. We had a storm roll through last night, and we had a lightning strike. And the lightning strike took out our internet. So I'm fretting about, number one, I work remotely 3 days of the week, and today was one of my days to work remotely. So it's like, how am I gonna work? I can't work, I have no internet. Even my cell phone data plan does not work where I live. So I went right away up to our internet provider, which is locally, fortunately, and put in my claim, and they were able to come out this afternoon and get me all set up. So I am thankful for that. So I see Eileen and Betsy and Frosted Flakes are whoopsie, I lost me, are here. So I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm a little hot. It's really humid here in Iowa. So I think trying to get ready for my live, as well as a little toasty in my upstairs bedroom, extra bedroom here. Well, it's not a bedroom anymore. It's Mary's Creative Haven. That's kind of has a ring to it, doesn't it? All right, so what I'm making tonight is going to consist of this cup cauldron. I already have that prepped for us tonight, and I've already prepped what we're going to stick in here, but we're going to make them as well. So it's going to be a little bit on the spooky side. So we have this little dimensional ghost, and he's going to get propped in there. And so this is kind of, let's see here, how did this is kind of my idea of a design. He's probably going to get over there a little bit more, but this is kind of what I'm thinking of. And while we're working on it, I'm trying to decide if we need to put some lettering on our cauldron. Since we're using ghost, we don't want to say witch's brew or anything like that. Or we could say you've been booed, and this could be a gift to be booed. That might be a clever thing to do. So think about that and throw out suggestions as you think of them. So let's get started in making our little ghost. Do I have everything I need? I have my clay. I don't have anything to set them on. Let's see here. I have a piece of parchment here, so that will work. Okay, so I'm just going to use our Bose clay to cut out our little ghost cookie cutter shapes. So I'm just going to get out some of this. And we'll condition it a little. So how has everyone been? I see Kim is on. Thank you. And if you haven't sprinkled my page around, I'd appreciate that. I see Betsy has done that. Thank you very much. And Janie is on the Boo Crew. That's a cute one. Yeah, I like that. So I've made these little ghosts last year, and they've been just kind of hanging out until, you know, sometimes you just have to have the right inspiration to finalize a project. So sometimes just creating these little elements for our fake bakes might be something that we've done a while ago, and they just kind of are sitting in our creative space until we get that right inspiration. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, but I have a lot of things that I've started and my full inspiration hasn't been there, so they just kind of like, well, they're kind of those work in progress projects. So all right, so I think my clay's pretty conditioned here. I'm gonna move my camera down so you can see the screen, and we will get to making some cookie shapes here. That'll be okay. So I just have, this isn't silicone, but this works well for me when I'm cutting out cookie shapes. It's one of those cookie cutters from Dollar Tree. I don't know what I got in my clay. Maybe it's just a little dried out in spots, I don't know. All right, so we're just gonna roll this out. I saw Eileen's project. If you haven't seen the projects from the members of the Cakery Creators Circle, it's Eileen with Creative Eye Designs by Eileen, and Betsy with Heavens to Betsy Cakery, and myself, Mary with Hall Wall Designs. And we each get inspiration from a variety of things. And so Eileen was on earlier tonight, would have been 6 o'clock Eastern, and then Betsy followed her at 7 Eastern, and here I am. I gave you the wrong times. I think Eileen was 7 Eastern, Betsy was 8 Eastern, and I'm 9 Eastern. I'm on Central Time, so it makes it a little challenging making sure I got the times right. But, so I have this little cookie cutter here. He has that kind of little pointy cap on his head, and we're going to use him, and we're just going to cut this one out, and then this little cookie cutter has the little swoop on the end, and we'll just lay him in there and we'll cut that one out. And then I'm just pulling my clay around the cookie cutters. And then we'll see if we can get them out of there. So there is our little ghost with a little swoop on the end. And I'm just kind of patting the edges just to kind of clean them up a little bit. And I'll lay him down over here on my parchment paper. I'm done with that. And then we'll try to get this little guy out. He kind of looks like a pumpkin on the bottom. He has those little pumpkin bottom ridges, you know. Ooh, this one's, well, maybe we can salvage him. There is a knack to getting the shapes out of cookie cutters at times. and I haven't quite figured out what that knack is. There's been a lot of, there's some people that will put their cookie cutters in cornstarch. Others will use like cooking oil. What was the latest thing I heard? Somebody was using, I think, baby powder, which I would think would be similar to cornstarch. All right, I think I got him kind of looking all right. All right, so there is our other little ghost. And then, you know, our ghosts need to have some mouths. I'm going to put this back in my bag, and we're going to use that when we make our dimensional ghost here. I have a fan blowing in here, so I don't want it to dry out, so we'll just stick it over there. Okay, so here's my two little ghosts. I'm going to grab my black clay. Here it is. So Janie uses cooking oil and a cooking spray, and it seems to work well for her. Just grab it from the edge of your cutter. I have tried that, Eileen. I'm just haven't gotten the knack of it. Kelly, do you use wipes? So you just run a baby wipe around the edge prior to cutting? Huh. Just beautiful. That Frosted Flakes is a great idea, and it reminds me of my granddaughter. She came up with this saying that she says, "I'm beautiful." And so she was over for a craft day one day, and so we made a little graphic with cowboy boots and sunflowers coming out of the top, and then I added the words "I'm beautiful." And so I've been thinking about making her a t-shirt that says that, because she is just a riot. I see my mom is watching tonight. Thanks, Mom. Eileen, you have a lot of unfinished things? Yeah, I do too. Too many. I try to not do that, especially now that I'm trying to run a little business. All right, so I have my black clay, and I'm just going to grab some pieces to make some eyes. And you know, eyes, you want them to be kind of uniform in shape. So I have a little piece here, and I'm just going to try to divide that in half. And then I'm going to roll my little eyes and see if my little balls are roughly the same size. And they look pretty good. So then I'm just going to flatten them with my finger. And I am going to place that on this little guy here. Ooh, he has big eyes. Extra big tonight. He's really scared tonight. So here he is. You know, he has some pretty big eyes on him. So we want to add a little mouth on him, and his mouth is going to be a little oblong. So again, I'm just going to take a little clay, roll it in a circle, and then I'm just going to elongate it a little. And then we'll flatten that as well. Since he has big eyes, he's going to have a big mouth. So we're just going to lay the mouth on. Like that. So because I have wet clay, I don't have to add any glue or anything like that. So there's our one little ghost. And we're just going to let him dry. And then we're going to make some eyes on our other one, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make 2 eyes and a mouth. And I'm going to try to make these smaller because his head area is smaller than our other one here. So I'm taking my clay, trying to make 2 little circles about the same size. Okay, they look pretty close, and so I'm just going to smash it with my finger. And I think these are still too large. So I'm going to remove some of that clay. And we'll try again here. Those two look pretty similar in size, and we'll flatten them, and that looks better to me. Okay, there is his eyes, and now we're going to make a little mouth, and we'll do it the same way. We'll just take a little clay, I roll it into a circle, and then I make it a little oblong shape. Like that, and now I am going to just flatten it, and then we'll lay his mouth in like that. So here are our 2 cookie cutter ghosts, and we're just going to let those dry. And we'll work on our dimensional one here. Okay, set these aside. And I'm going to go back to my white clay. Oops, it's brown. Okay, so we're just going to condition this a little bit. I don't know what's in my clay. I haven't used it for a little bit, so it's possible that it dried out a little bit. So, yeah, they are cute, aren't they? Yes, Betsy, beautiful. It is, I mean, she just comes up, she just started the day saying that all the time, and so it just is kind of her saying now, and so she actually went on live one day. I was having in an event, and she came on live with me. It was at Easter time, and so she did a project while I was doing a project, and we had a really good time. So okay, so I have my clay pretty conditioned there. So I'm just gonna roll it. Well, let's see here. We probably have a little too much for this guy. So I'm just gonna remove a little bit, and then I'm just gonna roll it into a ball. It's been a while since I made him, so I have to try to remember how I did it. I'm just going to roll them into a ball. Take my ring off. Gonna keep rolling it into a ball until I get worked out some of these There's some lines in here. I don't know why. Can't. They're not working out of my clay here. Alright, so let's try this again. Roll it into a ball, and then I just kind of start elongating it, putting a little pressure on one end. Much like how Eileen does her gingerbread, she makes a little body. So I'm just continuing to make more the end of this into kind of a cylinder shape. Or more of a cone shape. And I'm just working more on the end of this with my fingers. And I'm just going to try to make kind of a little point for his little swoosh. Get it until the way I like it. I'm just kind of set him kind of flat. And then I have this so far, just a real little cone. So I'm just going to take the end of this and I'm just going to like bend it over. So maybe like that. Or we could, here's the original one. So I'm going to try to make him looking like that a little bit more. So I'm just going to take my little end and I'm just kind of smooshing it back in there. And then just kind of moving it off to the side. And then I'm going to look at my little shape and determine which side I want as my front. So I think this is going to be my front because on the back side I kind of have some stretching of the clay where we've made our little bend. So I kind of like this side versus this side. So I'm just going to set my little ghosty over the side. And now we're just going to make him some little arms. Let's see here. So we'll just make a little cylinder. I'm putting a little extra pressure, not all the way to the end, just kind of like a little towards the end to kind of make little bigger like ends to represent his little hands. Like that. So now I'm just going to take a scissors and I'm just going to cut off where his arm is going to be. just kind of rounding the ends. And now I'm just going to flatten those a little bit. And you see one arm is longer than the other. I'm going to take my little ghost and I am just going to lay his arm on, starting onto the side, and kind of wrap it towards his front. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Like that. And you know, I should have put his little face on first. We'll just lay him down there, and we'll get our black clay out again. Do the same thing with this eyes. We'll just get a little piece of clay here. That's probably too much. Little piece of clay, roll it into a ball, make a little cylinder, and then I just kind of eyeball it. Eyeball it to make eyes. And I think we have just a little too much on each of these yet, so I'm just going to take a little bit off, and we'll just see if we're getting close. Alright, those look pretty close in size. So I'm just going to make my little ball, flatten it with my finger, and then bring it up here and place my eye on my ghost. There he has his eyes. And we'll make a little mouth on him as well. We just had a brainstorm. I think we're going to put a little sparkle in his eyes. And we'll just basically just make a tiny little dot of clay to stick in his eyes. There's his mouth. So we'll get our clay put away here. So last night I went live and I did a project making some stacked pumpkins. You could see them back here. I'll show you them before we leave tonight. But I had planned to go live today at noon to finish them up, but then with my internet issues I could not do that. So my next plan is maybe I'll finish them up on Sunday. Maybe the evening. We'll see what this looks like, if this adds something to them or not. But my little balls are not quite the same size, so we just need to work on that. There we go, we're close. So I think I'm going to put them in the upper right corner. So again, I'm just going to I have my little balls rolled out here, and I'm just going to flatten them a little bit, and then I'm just going to place them on my eyes. There he has different look to him with those googly, he has more of a googly eye look. So if you like that, you can try that. So now we're done with our making of our clay pieces. So now we're going to move into our piping of our little cauldron. This is going to be my front. I'm just going to mark this somehow. So I'm just putting a blue piece of tape in my front just so that I know it's the front, because I might forget by the time I finish this. All right, so now I want to move my little clay dude over here, and I have taken some spackle and I've made a green, kind of a fluorescent green color. And I've used this Test Stores paint. It's the color of cactus for my color for my filling. And we're going to fill our bag. So I'm just sticking my tip in the end. Let's see what number. I'm using a 2D on this project. So I stick my tip in, and then I typically cut it right above where the cutouts are for the tip, and we'll cut it off straight there now. And I always like to start off not too deep, because I can always change it. Okay, so there I have my tip on, and it's placed in there pretty nicely. So now I'm going to fill my bag, and so I just roll down the top, and I place my hand in there. And then I just start filling my bag with my filling. Do have quite a few of these these are plastic, these little cups. If anyone is interested in a few, I think I had to purchase 12 or 24, and so I don't see that I'm going to use all of them. So if you are interested in buying a few of the Cauldron cups, just let me know and I'll shoot you a price. So now I'm just moving my spackle down to the end of my bag. And that looks pretty good. And I have it right to the end there. I think that looks good. I am going to get this covered up. Move this aside. I'm going to put this up on a turntable. Maybe that will help me in my piping. So I got this little plastic turntable, and we'll see how this works with as I'm piping this. So I want my front to always look nice. So I'm going to start kind of towards the back. And of course, it doesn't appear that I'm using my turntable at all, huh? Oh boy. Just adding some extra little dollops here and there just to all right, kind of like that. So there I have my spackle on my cauldron. I debated about what color I was going to do this, but then I did it was going to either be a purple or this green. And my thought process was, well, I think more the green gloomy kind of thing is kind of what I see with when ghosts are near, or in movies and cartoons and things. So that's why I went with the green. So now we are going to place our big guy here, and I am just going to take a bamboo skewer and run it up through his middle, excuse me, and somewhere on my work table I have some super glue right here. So, oopsie. So I'm going to super glue the end of him so he sticks, doesn't come flying off of our design. Like that. And now I'm just going to nip off the end here. And we'll probably go about that long. So I'm also going to glue him in after I kind of decide where I'm sticking him. I think I'm going to put him towards the back in the center. So we're going to glue just with some super glue there as well, and that's going to go down into the foam and into the spackle. He looks cute. Alright, now I have this little guy. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to affix him in there as well. I don't know that my skewer is a little too large. I don't have any toothpicks up here. Fiddlesticks. A toothpick might have worked pretty good. But we're going to try this skewer. I'm going to go with the pointy end, and I'm going to try to run it up towards the back on this edge. Okay, that looks like that's going to work. So let's get a little glue, hot or super glue on there as well. I think the super glue I'm using tonight is just some that I got from Dollar Tree. Somewhere, I don't know where my Gorilla Glue is at. Okay, so he's on my skewer. I'm going to cut that off. Up there. And I think we're going to place him kind of over in this area. So let's get a little super glue on this end. Oops. And I'm really kind of sticking him down in there into the spackle more. And we'll go back after we get the rest, our other little ghost in, we're going to go back in behind our ghost and add a little extra spackle to reinforce them. And now we have our last little guy here. And I want him to kind of be, floating. I don't know, I have just to kind of be floating out here. But maybe we can run the skewer along this edge here and kind of have him still up front a little bit. So I'm going to try to find one here that has a pointy end on it. There we go. And we're just going to run that skewer up in him. Like that. That looks like that's going to work. We'll add a little glue to the end of our skewer here. And I've got super glue on my fingers, so they're kind of sticking together. So there's always that. All right, so I kind of want him. All right, we're gonna go for it and see what it looks like. Let's just get some super glue on him, and we're just going to place him, I'm gonna kind of towards the front. Okay, so you can see he was leaning too much towards the cup, so I had to move him back. So I have this big hole here, but don't worry about that. We can fix him up with some more spackle. So even on our back of our clay pieces here, we have he's really not down into the spackle very much, so we're going to build that up with a little extra spackle. And so let me get this glue put away before I glue my fingers together. And I have a little spackle left in my bag, so let's get the front done first. Back to the back side here and add a little extra just to reinforce each of these. We'll see. So there's our little trio of ghost, and I think what we could do, I just want to add a little spot there. I touched it with my hand, so I kind of, all right, there we go. I'm trying to figure out what else we can do to embellish it up with. So I don't know if this is going to work. I have these little foam balls that I had gotten from Dollar Tree. They match pretty well. I don't know if we add a few of those in here. I have some purple ones as well. If we did I'm not sure what we should do. Doing a little trail of them. The other thing I wanted to do, and I know I have it, is to dust it with some glow-in-the-dark glitter. I had it in my little basket here, and then I said, oh, I need to move that so I don't put that on one of my other projects that I was working on, like Christmas and 4th of July and stuff. It's like I didn't want to jeopardize putting that on there, and now I can't seem to find it. So I'm just not quite sure what we should embellish this with. Maybe I just leave it this, like plain like this. I'll let this dry, and then when I find my glow-in-the-dark glitter, I'll add that to the spackle, and then adding our little saying to the bottom here. I think that might be enough. I don't have any other. Oh, I do have another idea here. So I have some glitter spiders, and I have some glittered bats. If we placed one of these bats. Just see what this, if we placed one of these bats up here somehow, that he's just flying around. What do you like? Do you like that idea? The other thing we could do is to take one of these glittered spiders and have him like crawling up our little cauldron. So that's another idea. Or I can have him on crawling up the handle. I kind of like that idea. Have him crawling up on the handle over here. I can add some purple ribbon to tie into that, so that way he stands out a little more, and then have him, oops, and then have him just crawling on the handle. I kind of like that idea. So I think that's what I'll do to finish him off. I'm going to let this dry, and then I will add our little spider with a purple ribbon, and he's going to be climbing up on the handle here. I'll locate my glitter, glow-in-the-dark glitter, and put that on the spackle. I think, and then I don't think that we need to even have a saying on here. Just by doing it that way, I think is going to give us enough to look at and to be kind of cute. What do you think of, what do you think about that? You like that idea, Tammy and Betsy? I think I will try that. So, and Kim, yeah, I think once I figured out how I was going to place these little ghosts, I think they just kind of look like they're kind of floating around in there. So that was kind of my hope. So, but I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll finish embellishing it up with that ribbon and this little spider, and we'll go from there. If we have to add a little saying, we can always add the saying later. So I got to get my glow-in-the-dark. I'm gonna move my camera up here. All right. So I don't think, I'm really scared to even open these packages because they're little styrofoam balls, and they stick to everything that's static electricity. So I'm really afraid to open those. They'll be everywhere. So I'm just going to set those back aside, and we might have a project for them later. So that's our project tonight. Hope you liked it, and I inspired you to create something of your own. And again, if you are interested in these little cauldrons, you can let me know and just send me a private message, and I can let you know how much they would be. And they're really lightweight, so they'll be great for shipping. So yeah. And then I have our 3 ghosts over here drying, waiting to make their appearance in the next little project we have. So we have a full family of ghosts. So, and these ghosts that we made tonight are a little bit thicker, so when you run your skewer up through them, they're going to work a little nicer. So keep that in mind if you're going to need to run a skewer through the little cookies. So I appreciate you all stopping by. If you haven't followed Creative Eye Design by Eileen or Heaven to Betsy Cakery, or myself, Hogwild Designs, I'd love you to do that. And every opportunity that you can support us just simply by watching our content is support enough. We appreciate that. Sharing us out to your friends and family is also helps us grow and reach additional people, and that's what we are trying to do with coming live and showing you our crafts and things like that, so that our little businesses can grow ultimately as well. So I hope you all have a great evening. Hopefully tonight we will be storm free here in Iowa, and I'll have a great night. I won't get interrupted with some lightning and clattering. So all right, with that, I'll see you again next week with the Content Creators Circle. And tomorrow, just if you have nothing else to do, I am also going live with another project. I am part of the Crafty Bunch, and I'm going live at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening with a Halloween craft. It's going to be a bit different than what I've done tonight. Because I am an all-around crafter. I do fabrics and wood signs and fake bakes and just a whole variety of things. So if you want to come along and watch that craft tomorrow, I would appreciate that as well. So I will sign off for now, and I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.